For the movie, I wrote that Rose gets onto a piece of wooden debris that's too small and unstable to support them both. But ever since the movie came out, people have insisted they both could have survived. Could we save them both? So we'll start with you in that initial position. The object is to get your head and shoulders over a bit toward the far side, because the idea is if you can get your core up out of the water, then you'll be better off. So he just creeps up and he gets his upper body kind of as much out of the water as possible. Jack and Rose are able to get on the raft, but now they're both submerged in dangerous levels of freezing water. Our tests at the hypothermia lab showed that if Jack had climbed onto the raft with Rose, they would have both been partially submerged in freezing water. He would still have died before the rescue boat arrived 2 hours later, and she might have died too. What would it be like if we just said, let's do the best case? Best case we can imagine is they both kneel on the raft facing each other, use their body heat together, you know, kind of in an embrace, and she shares her heat with him and vice versa, and they kind of insulate them, they huddle against the elements, right? So we get them on the raft, we try to do that, guess what? Pretty unstable. All right, it ain't happening. But they did manage to find a stable position, took a little bit of trying, where their upper bodies were out of the water, both of them. And that's when it got interesting. Out of the water, violent shaking was helping him. And projecting it out, he could have made it pretty long, like hours. But the interesting thing was, he's taking buoyancy from her, getting into a threshold where he can live. That's not affecting her. The best thing we came up with was them trying to keep their body out of the water, right? Their core. I really learned something interesting here, is when you shiver and shake like that underwater, it's conducting away heat very rapidly, but when you do it in air above water, it's actually working for you. If that plateau could have lasted long enough to get to where the boat came back to rescue them, he might have made it.
He has got a chance. That's all we can say.
But that sort of best case scenario was kind of a fantasy, because they didn't really go through all the stuff that our characters are seen doing before they got to that. They didn't just magically teleport themselves to the raft. So now, let's do the real test. Let's put them through a simulation of all the things that Jack and Rose went through.